How's it going, everyone? Octopus here and welcome back. This video is going to be about Classic Donald and how I'm going to utilize him in this account and my other one, and also we're going to touch a little bit on Lux Farming. I'm not a professional at Lux Farming, I haven't done it too much, but I have an idea what I want to do. So we're going to go over, first off, if you guys have been doing the Donald event, I've been reading a lot of comments and it seems like it's really annoying, and it took me I think 2 hours when it first came out to actually farm the proper amount I needed, and for both accounts I got perfectly 3 almost fully gilted boosted Donalds. So as you guys can see here, this is gonna be my first one. I definitely know I want Attack Boost 2 and Lux Plus on one. That's 100% for sure. On my second one, I'm probably gonna put an Attack Boost 3 just because of any, let's say, raid bosses that I'm not Lux farming for, just to get the actual, let's say, make them level 10s. I gotta make a level 10 so my whole party gets Chip and Dales, make it level 20, so on and so on. I don't really care about the Lux that's coming out of it because I am max level, and a lot of weeks there isn't anything to really say, hey, get your Lux up high, because you're not really challenging anyone or trying to get magic gems or so on. So I'll put Attack Boost 3 on this one for story quests, raid bosses, and the raid bosses that just give Chip and Dales. That way I can go through these really quick or guarantee that I'm doing a lot of damage. Now anyone that has a new account and doesn't have any other medals and they want a really hard hitting magic medal, then Attack Boost 3 on a boosted Donald will do amazing for you in anything. You guys can also use, let's say you're facing speed, which is green, and you know magic doesn't do a lot of damage to it. This Donald will actually do a lot of damage to a speed enemy, even though it's different, just because he has such a high multiplier and attack, and if you add chips plus an Attack Boost 3, you will be able to do a ton of damage to that enemy, even though it's speed. So you don't have to just use this on just power enemies, you can use this on magic enemies, speed enemies, and power enemies. It'll do damage to all of them. Obviously more than others, but you can use this medal if you have no other good medals. So that's like a little bit of a tip. And for my third one, not this one, I think it was a 96, no. Okay, I got a 98% boosted and gilted. So this is the third Classic Donald I have. I'm gonna put an Attack Boost 2 max on this one if he's gonna be my main medal in the high score challenge that comes up. If he's actually a 7% medal in that high score challenge, then he's gonna be my main damage dealer. I'm definitely gonna put an Attack Boost 2 max on him and go through that. People are gonna say, well, he's single target, that might not be a good idea. When the high score challenge comes out, I'll explain more about that, but you don't need to one turn the enemies in high score challenge to actually get the best score. You just got to figure out a way to survive and take them out one at a time. So that's fine and everything. Depends how the high score challenge comes out. This is what the third Donald's for. It's going to be an Attack Boost 2 max. If the high score challenge, I don't use them for that, then I just have a third Donald spared for Proud Mode. Because in Proud Mode, we need some medals that are gilted. So the more medals you guys have gilted, the better. So that's why I recommend always farming extra of these farmable medals and gilting them as high as possible. Especially the Christmas swords, I hope you guys are keeping them. Just in case, I know I told all of you to put Paralysis Plus on these and just throw them away after. If we don't need to use these skills, or if you guys bought both Aerial and Trident boards, then don't throw these away. I think for Proud Mode, these Christmas swords, if you guys gilted them above 70%, are going to help you a lot in the Proud Mode. So I guess it's a little more tip in there. But if you did put your skill plus on these guys, don't throw them away yet, okay? Don't transfer them to the next high score challenge. Just in case, not just in case, I really think they're going to be good for Proud Mode. And hopefully we don't need that many skill pluses to pass the next high score challenge. We'll talk about it after, there's a lot to that, but for now, don't get rid of your Christmas swords, especially if they're gilted. Back to the Donald, I also have an extra two. As you can see here, they're not boosted, but I don't need that boosted. I'm just going to use them for skill plus, like I was talking about the Christmas swords. But I do have a second set of skill pluses, so I'm going to put them on these ones if I have to use them for that high score challenge. If you don't need to use Poison Plus, Sleep Plus to pass the high score challenge, then don't use them yet. Don't put them on these medals if you don't have to. So that is what I'm doing with my Donalds. My Classic Donalds, one's going to be Attack Boost 3 for just pure damage. One's going to be Attack Boost 2 / Lux Plus, which I already have, as you can see, because of Lux Farming. and the third one is just in case for the high score challenge, and the other two are throwaways where I can put skills on them, use them for the high score challenge, and then throw them away to the next one. Not throw them away, but transfer the skill. And don't forget, if you're going to transfer a skill, you guys can see right here, 15 out of 15. If it doesn't say 15 out of 15 or 20 out of 20, don't transfer it yet. 100% transfer rate is 15 out of 15. Anything under that, you actually have the chance of losing that skill to the next medal. So don't forget to level up the skill if you're going to transfer it. I know some people made the mistake of doing that, and it's sad because it's really hard to get these skill plus skills or any skills. So don't forget to actually level that up. So now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about my Lux setups. I'm not the best at these, so this isn't going to be the best advice for everyone. But since a lot of people farm Behemoth because of the horn and the low HP, and it's quick to go through them, actually keeping the horn alive, taking it down, and then letting it reset so the horn actually comes back up. What I mean by that is that when you go into the battle with the Behemoth, you have his HP bar and then his horn's a hit point. When you take that out, he gets stunned for 1 turn. So what you do is you go into the battle, you take out the horn, you do all the Lux damage you can to the body, and then you back out and you let that horn reset. You'll see stun timer 3 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is. Let that timer go to 0, and then it resets the horn. So when you go back in, you take out the horn again, because every time you take out the horn, you get more Lux for that. So it's a lot more efficient to actually have your whole party not just go through Behemoths really quick, but to actually summon their Behemoth, activate it for the party, take out the horn, and then switch out to the next person. Keep rotating so the horns are always coming back out so you guys can get the most Lux. It's a little more into that once I have a video where there's a bunch of Behemoths going on, and I'll explain it more, but that's the gist of it. So what I want to do is be as efficient as possible though. So anyone going to use Classic Donald as your Lux medal? The problem with Donald is he's an upright magic, and there's not that many Keyblades that have a good slot in it. 2.1 on the Starlight is more than enough to do a lot of damage, especially if you guys have a lot of buff medals. Now you guys don't need Jack and Sally's for this, or Illustrated Kari. You can use 3 Christmas Soras, Moana, and then Classic Goofy over here, and another Classic Goofy of your friends that has Lux Plus, and you're gonna farm a lot. It's just you're gonna have to make sure one of your Christmas Soras or one of your buff medals has an APP on it, an attack prize plus, just so you are not running out of SP as you're going. Now the thing about your buff medals, you don't want your buff medals to do a lot of damage. The more damage your Lux medals do, the more you get. If you guys know about High Score Challenge and how the credit score system works, the more damage you do to that enemy with your attacks, the more score you get. Same thing goes for Lux. When you're using Lux Plus, since this Donald has 11 hits, you want all 11 hits to land with the most amount of damage. That way you get the most Lux back. A single target obviously will be, not single target, one hit is obviously better, but since it has multiple hits, you want to make sure all those hits land. So you want to make sure your buff medals don't do a lot of damage. Now there's different situations to that. Most of the situations, if you're really strong and you can take out a Behemoth, a level 99 Omega Behemoth in one go, then you can just keep doing that. You'll take out the horn, take out the body, and do all that damage, and then just summon another one. It might be more efficient like that, I think. Like I said, I'm not a professional at this. I'm just giving the advice that I have. Anyone that knows a little bit more than me, leave it in the comments, guys. But let me continue on this. That's my idea when I do this. That's a Starlight. If you guys have the Moogle Glory, I have a Meowjesty that has attack boost 2 and Lux Plus on it as well. So it's the same thing, my 3 buffs, whatever your guys' 3 buffs are to make this the most damage possible, put them on there. Lots of medals like Owl, Smee, Illustrated Shion, HD Axel, lower defensive enemies, and that does more damage, so more Lux, or the quicker the enemy goes down. So any buffs, you want to make sure you are time streaming though. So if you don't have Illustrated Kari, use a Piglet and Christmas Sora, or Piglet and something else, something to get that ×3 buff out there. But for this setup, because I have 2, I get to have the Lux Plus on my Donald and Meowjesty. Like I said before, Meowjesty is power, but since we're facing Behemoths, because they are the most efficient, power versus power is still a lot of damage, and you'll still get a good amount of Lux off it. So this is actually works out pretty good in my favor, because I did put Lux Plus on those 2 medals, and they are fully gilted, and they have a huge multiplier and huge attack. So this is probably going to be used my main setup when I'm facing Behemoths, just so the amount of damage I can actually do with this and the speed I can take out the behemoths. For my third one is the same thing, 3 buffs, and the Divine Rose is going to be the best for magic that most people are going to get, because a lot of people already worked on the Divine Rose, and because the multiplier, the 4th slot, is in a good position, so you have enough room to have all your buffs, and then you have a 2.50 for an upright magic. He's going to fit here perfectly. Now the only downfall is that you have a magic slot in the end, so if you are facing a power medal, which most likely you are, Behemoth, your magic medal is not going to do as much. So it might be better for me not to use my Lux Plus here and actually put a medal here with APP instead, or something like a 3rd Jack and Sally or Maleficent, or anything that's going to carry a buff around. It's not necessary, but it will help my friend medal that's going to be right here. So my Jack and Sally's will give me ×2 and -2 to the enemy, and a 3rd one will make the friend medal do more damage if it has Lux Plus. But the same thing goes if I'm facing an enemy that's magic. Then this medal is going to do a lot of damage and give me a lot of Lux, and Donald will be my neutral one, just like my Meowscarada for the previous one. So it actually works out if I'm facing a magic enemy. But since we're going to focus on Behemoths because they give the most Lux, this is kind of, I'm going to switch this probably, seeing how much it actually does, and since it does cost 3, it's kind of not efficient, so I'll probably put something with APP there, or a buff that carries to my friend medal. So carrying on, we got the Olympia. The Olympia setup, this is the same thing. If I'm facing a speed enemy, my Meowscarada is on a 2.70 multiplier. You only have to make it to 26 to actually get that multiplier, or 25, I forget which one. But for power, Lux Farming, this is going to be one of the best setups, because like I said, if you hit neutral damage, Lux Plus is going to do fine. So since we're using Meowscarada as our main, we're going to be facing a speed enemy. It all depends, because we do have those events that come out that are different raid bosses, and we want to farm. Like the weekend raid bosses aren't always power. Sometimes they're magic, sometimes they're speed. So it's always good to have a different setup for Lux. And then the 3 wishes. On the 3 wishes, I got my HD Aqua, which I put Lux Plus on a long time ago. So it actually is okay for me to actually use the 3 wishes for this. Or if you guys want, I'm not saying this is a good idea, you guys can have 2 Donalds with Lux Plus on them that are fully gilted and fully boosted. You have 2 copies of exactly this, one here and one on where the Aqua is. So you'll have full buffs, and then you'll have these 2 doing the most possible, and a 3rd Donald. So, or not even Donald, anything that's a Lux farmer. If someone has a final form Sora, so on and so on. That might work out too, but if not, like I said before, 3 buffs, you're Donald. This might be, if people don't have Starlight, they might use this setup instead because it has more magic on it. Because a 2.0 multiplier, 2.1, or anything above is going to do plenty of damage for Lux Farming. So that's all the Keyblades. I have this Keyblade, but like I said, that's my only Lux Farming Keyblade for speed, so I got to work on my speed setup, but most likely you guys want to focus on magic, because you're going to farm those Behemoths. Now, like I said, I'm not no professional at this. This is just what I'm doing right now, and advice I've got from people. Anybody else that has more advice, let people know in the comments. If I forgot anything, I probably did. But this is what I'm doing. Let me see if I just have a raid boss that's up right now. There is someone that's farming, so hopefully there is one. There isn't. That's fine. I haven't worked on them yet. As you can see, my Lux Farming is terrible. I'm at 57,000 Lux. I'm going to get to it once I have more time. But that is everything I'm doing for Lux Farming once I start hitting them. Once I start doing this, I'm going to be pretty much really going at it hardcore, and I'm most likely going to use this setup or the 3 wishes setup. It all depends. It really all depends, guys. But this looks like the best setup for me right now, just because these 2 have so much damage and they have the Lux Plus on them. So if you guys have anything else to add to this, let me know. If I can do anything different as well, if you guys see my setup, I do have a good amount of medals, but Jack and Sally should be helping me out enough. If you guys see something different, let people know in the comments. Let me know as well. And that's all I got for Lux Farming, guys, and what I'm doing with my classic Donalds. So hopefully this clears some questions up, because a lot of people have been asking me, and instead of just replying to everyone individually, this is my idea, and this is just how I'm going to be running through this. So if you guys like what you guys see, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on smiling, because the world will smile back, and I'll see you guys in the next one.